You're welcome to Lesser Engineering and Resources Consultants Limited. We are located at kilometer 5 East West Road behind Omega House, Rumuodara, Port Harcourt. You can also locate us at Google Map. You just go input in Lesser Engineering. It's easy for you to locate. Our first point of call is our security post, where you go input in your details for us. You're welcome once more to Lesser. So in our security post, you put down your documentation, your company, where you're coming from, your phone number for us. Okay. When you're done with the security post, please, we can proceed to the reception building where we can receive you properly, please. You're welcome to listen. Now we're heading to the reception. We just finished from the security post. Okay, this is our reception. You're welcome once more. Please, you can just sit down and receive our safety brief. You have to go through our safety brief before you proceed to the MC's office or any other lab you're going to.
Welcome to Lesser Engineering and Resources Consultants Limited. Your health, safety, security, and the environment is our priority. Lesser is an indigenous company that carries out Slickline services, pressure, volume, and temperature PVT laboratory analysis, environmental laboratory services, manpower development and geosciences training school, reservoir management, research and development services. We are ISO 9001:2015 certified and improve our quality management system QMS to exceed customers' expectation. Your responsibility as a guest to our facility. Prior to entry into laser engineering, ensure your face mask is worn at all times. Make yourself available for body temperature check. Comply to the mandatory hand washing protocol at the security post. Maintain social distancing throughout the duration of your visit. Get a visitor's card before proceeding into the facility. Obey the security procedure at the gate at all times. Do not smoke within laser premises. Laser facility floor plan. Let's take you through our facility floor plan. There are 5 buildings and 2 gates in the facility. The first gate is for entry, while the second is for exit. From the entrance gate, we have the security building, which is between the 2 gates and accommodates the security office and the environmental laboratory on the ground floor and the microbiology laboratory upstairs. Moving from the security building to the left is the Slickline workshop, an open workshop. Next is the old building at the far left of the facility, where we have the PVT laboratory and the reservoir management unit. Beside the old building is a small building, the Atomic Absorption Spectrometer AAS laboratory, where metal analyses are carried out. Adjacent to the AAS laboratory is the new building in which the Research and Development Laboratory, the library, the Laser Petroleum Geosciences Center (LPGC), and the administration offices are located. Then, finally to the exit gate by the security building. Muster point. The muster point is directly opposite the security building and it is clearly labeled for easy identification. Fire prevention and protection. The threat of fire is a serious problem to avoid. Housekeeping is your best defense against fire. Keep trash and scraps in containers. Oily and paint-soaked rags must be placed in covered metal containers where applicable. Observe all no smoking signs. Smoking in flammable liquid storage areas, bottle storage area, and laser premises is a serious breach of laser engineering HSE policy. It can lead to serious fire outbreak. Fire emergency procedure. In case of fire emergency, alarm is triggered or staff to shout fire, fire, fire repeatedly. On hearing alarm, which is a continuous alarm sound, Stop whatever you are doing. Use available fire extinguisher if you are trained to do so. Personnel to call fire service on 0703 152 2199 or 0807 0222 222. Switch off electrical appliances and close the door if the time permits. Locate nearest emergency exit. Walk briskly out. Do not run to the muster point and use the handrail where applicable. Do not go back for a forgotten item. Roll call would be taken at the muster point. Staff and visitors to be addressed on the situation and directed when it is safe to re-enter the office. If you discover smoke or fire, call and report the location of the fire. Activate fire alarms, which is a continuous alarm sound. For small fires, use fire extinguishers if you can and if it is safe to do so. For large fires, get out of the building. All fire, large or small, must be reported to the HSE office. Restricted areas. There are restricted areas in laser engineering. Such areas include the Slickline workshop, our laboratories and generator area. Entry into such areas require minimum personal protective equipment (PPE) for your safety, such as lab coats or coverall, safety shoe, and eye goggle. First aid. If you have any health challenge or injury in course of your visit here in Laser, do not hesitate to contact the HSC unit or call 135 via intercom or inform anybody for immediate assistance. Laser has competent first aiders to assist you and initiate medical evacuation (Medivac) where necessary. Company HSE policy. Health. It is our policy to ensure all personnel are medically certified fit for work and have access to health insurance scheme. Drugs, alcohol, and smoking are injurious to health and are highly prohibited in laser engineering facility. Safety. Laser is committed to ensuring the safety of its employees, clients, visitors, contractors, and third parties by implementing best practices to prevent injury and accidents. Security. We recognize and understand security threats, thereby ensuring access control as a means of protecting life and property. Environment. Laser Engineering and Resources Consultants Limited minimizes negative environmental impact such as oil spill, emissions and discharges of substances that degrade the environment. Ensure that work is carried out in a healthy and safe environment, while working conditions must be conducive and compatible with workers' well-being. Sanitary facility. For your convenience, locate the restroom in the security building, Slickline workshop, the old and new building. Ensure you wash your hands with soap after using the restroom. Housekeeping. To maintain a healthy environment, avoid indiscriminate dumping of waste within laser premises. Make use of the designated trash bins provided at various units. Thank you for listening and make the most of your visit. Welcome once again to Laser Engineering and Resources Consultants Limited. Have a wonderful moment with us. Stay safe always.
Good day and welcome to Laser Engineering. We are going to take you on a facility tour of our company to let you know what we do and the values that are very dear to us. This facility tour is basically to introduce our clients to what we do and how we do it. We will start with visiting the Managing Consultant's office. This short visit will take about 4 minutes. Why we are doing this is that should you want to go to any part of the video that is of interest to you, you can go straight there and watch. Please see the detailed timestamp on the screen. But if you have the time, we'd like you to go through all of it with us so you can see the wide array of services we offer. After the visit to the Managing Consultant's office, we will take a tour of the Reservoir Management Department, and that tour will take us about 6 minutes. Please see the screen for the detailed timeline. After the Reservoir Department, we will go to the PVT and R&D laboratories, and that will take us another 15 minutes. When we are through with the PVT and R&D departments, we will take a tour of the Slickline department. This department will take us about 11 minutes to conclude. From Slickline department, we go to the Environmental Lab. The Environmental Lab will take us about 13 minutes. When we leave the Environmental Laboratory, we go to the Laser Petroleum Geoscience School and Library. This particular video will take us about 8 minutes. After touring the Geoscience School, we will go again to the managing consultants of the company and all the management team to find out from them what they think about the company they work for and what their perception of the company is. This is the closing part of the video and will take us about 26 minutes. Please join us as we go on this tour, and we hope that you are impressed at the end of the tour and that you will be able to patronize us. We have been in the oil and gas industry space in Nigeria for about 32 years, and we have offices in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Please have a good tour and feel free to reach us on the addresses displayed on the screen.
Okay, so let's see the managing consultant of Laser Engineering and Resources Consultants Limited to tell us about a little bit about the company.
Good morning. You are all welcome to Laser Engineering. I think we can talk over the. You can sit. Yeah, sit here. Sit, gentlemen. My name is Professor Mike Onyekong. I'm the managing consultant of Laser Engineering. This is a company that has been in existence for more than 30 years. Laser Engineering is a child of necessity. Because after coming back from the US, I couldn't be completely occupied by teaching. I had quite some energy, so I started looking for ways to expend the energy. I started rendering services to the oil and gas industry, and I started with teaching. And then from there, we moved on to services. Right now, we render quite a lot. Somebody described it as, he said, we have brought classroom to the field. We do things like reservoir management, Slickline services by going to gather data. We don't only gather the data, but we also analyze the data. We have one of the best labs in Africa. After you can bring your fluid and then it gets sampled and analyzed, and you go with a high level of confidence that we are giving you results that can help you do whatever you want to do, including facility design. We also do training because that is the root. I'm sure that if the people that has passed through me down tool in the oil and gas industry, it will look like when the tanker drivers go on strike. Everybody will feel it. We also have the environmental laboratory that's there. If I go into the history, it's going to take us a long time. But I tell you that I can see that the Word of God is true. The word that says all things work together. Many things have worked together in this company. Right now, you know that Laser has offices in many places. There's one in Lagos, very good office. And then we used to stay in Bini, but now we have an outpost in Bini. And that is how we operate. I don't know whether you have questions for me.
Thank you, sir. Do you have some success stories that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, yes. Let me start from the biggest. Laser is the first company that brought in a mercury-free PVT laboratory into this country. And we did that by partnering with DB Robinson in Canada. Actually, it was after we did that Schlumberger saw the equipment and they had to go to Canada. So that is quite an achievement. Number two is Petroleum has become a household software in reservoir management. Laser is the first company to bring in laser to this country. So I can say that we have good eyes for good things. Number three, in area of analyzing well tests, we have set the standards. If you see people advertising for well tests, they use our report format to say, this is what I want. What happened in the last 6 months is that the truck we designed, that's what we call one truck that has all the lifting capacity and other things that just goes to the field without your having too many footprint of vehicles coming. We now have it. That's the first in the world. This truck is in Nigeria and it has been going to field work, particularly land operations for SPDC. Number 4 is that Laser is the first company that successfully did a reservoir study that is even currently being used to develop the field. Some people actually show that Nigerians can do things, and Laser is one of them. We started formal geoscience training because we understand the deficiency in the learning of university graduates, and then we decided to fill in the gap. In the university, they will teach you the theory, but here, we will teach some theory and a heavy practice. I see a great future where our market is not going to be limited to this country. And then that dream is that we're already seeing it being fulfilled.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Do enjoy your day, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome to Reservoir Management Department, where we carry out integrated reservoir studies, single well modeling, leading to field development plan that can be used or deployed in the field to optimize production. In this section, we have both the geology and engineering team working together, working in synergy to be able to produce a model that can be used or deployed in the field. So I'm going to introduce you to the key geologists and the reservoir team leads that we have here. I have Obinna Ezeneche as our chief reservoir engineer, who is going to take us through what we actually do in this section. And Robinson is also going to take us to his workstation, where he will be showing us what we actually do to get the result I'm talking about. Obinna, over to you.
So while here in Laser Engineering, as a reservoir engineering team, we conduct high-level reservoir engineering studies for clients, both international and local, in all aspects of reservoir engineering, ranging from all producing mechanisms from primary, secondary, and tertiary recovery. And we've been involved in using high-level softwares that are very pronounced in the industry, like Petroleum, Intersect as well, Eclipse, Kappa, Sapphire, in conducting well test analysis, production performance, pipe sim, and so many others. So in the reservoir management team, especially in the reservoir engineering section, where we deal with aspects of the reservoir and deal with systems, pressures as well as production mechanisms. So we try to study these things using so many tools that, as I've mentioned earlier. I'll show you some of the things we do in the reservoir engineering unit. For instance, a simple production performance profile that you're seeing here, where we have an oil rate and gas rate. The oil is a red and the gas is a green. Okay, so we had an issue here. A client actually called to made mention of some issues with actually production allocation and how pressures, communications among its zones was affecting the production profile. So this work was actually sent to the reservoir management team, which the reservoir engineers sat down together and were able to carry out a detailed production performance analysis, material balance, pressure system, pressure analysis as well. And we came out with knowing the zones of high-level communication. And we took it into the simulator where we used the first, I mean, I can be proud of saying that this is the first local oil company or local servicing company in Nigeria to make use of high Intersect in conducting a reservoir simulation study. So we used Intersect in conducting this study and did the work and reproduced results. This is a history match, and this is a pressure profile from the simulation. The line is a simulated profile, and the points are actual pressure readings. So we're able to do this job. We found the zones of communication and handed it over to the client, and the client was very impressive of the work that was done, and it was a feat that was actually being acclaimed in Nigeria. And so aside that as well, we also carry out well performance and modeling using Prosper and PipeSync, and we use state-of-the-art softwares which are licensed and paid for. And we always make sure that we keep track of modern changes in technology regarding softwares that can enable us produce outstanding results to our clients. We do not work in isolation. We also work with our geologists. As you can see here, the geologist is here sitting down and trying to get some information which he will use in improving his model. And that interaction between the geologist and the engineer is what keeps us moving and keeps us being successful in the work we do. So Robinson will now take us to the geology workstation, where we will be able to see more of the geologic output and what it entails. Okay, Robinson, can we go?
I welcome you to the G&G session of the Reservoir Management Department. In this session, we employ geological, geophysical, and petrophysical techniques in solving our clients' subsurface problems. So what we will practically do here is seismic interpretation, pore pressure prediction, quantitative seismic interpretation, such as seismic inversion and AVO analysis. We also carry out petrophysical evaluation of well logs. We employ all of these results in building a robust reservoir static model used in solving the subsurface issues. We transfer the output to our reservoir engineers where they use it to build dynamic models. As you can see, this is a seismic session. This work was actually done for a client. They were having a lot of uncertainties in their fluid distribution, and we'll help them to optimally interpret these levels and built a model that was able to account for various fluid distribution within these reservoirs. Okay, so in this department, I can tell you that we have very competent staff that can carry out reservoir studies, field development plans. We have worked for a lot of clients ranging from IOCs to local companies. We've helped companies solve a lot of their subsurface issues, and I can tell you that we also train other companies too. This department is very capable in carrying out any reservoir studies job. We're one of the best when it comes to reservoir studies. For LISA is a global name. LISA is a household name in the oil and gas industry, especially in Nigeria and Africa. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed our tour. I wish you well.
Now we're going to the PVT and flow assurance laboratory to see what they are doing here. Hello, good morning, lab. Good morning.
My name is Dr. Bella Mmata. I am the senior manager in charge of laser laboratories. And laser laboratories consist of the PVT lab, the environmental lab, the RD&I lab. Now, each of these labs were established to meet a need in the industry. The PVT lab was established to meet the need for quality fluid data definition, while the environmental lab was established to meet the environmental concerns of our clients. The RD&I lab was established to be able to carry out research and in-depth study on services and needs in the oil and gas industry. Currently, we are in the PVT laboratory, and our PVT laboratory is the first mercury-free laboratory in the whole of West Africa. We've been in the business for more than 30 years. And because of this, we have extensive knowledge and extensive expertise in the analysis of all kinds of fluid, ranging from black oil to condensates to even critical fluid. We've analyzed more than 1,500 reservoir fluid types, both in the Niger Delta region, the Gulf of Guinea, and even the Benue Trough. So here we have world-class equipment which we use to carry out our services. And then we have well-trained personnel that are enthusiastic about giving our clients high-quality data that can help them to make informed decisions. So without wasting time, I just want to introduce you to the PVT lab, and I'll be handing you over to Engineer Hilary Okeke and Emeka Nabuchi to take you through what we do in the PVT laboratory. You're welcome.
My name is Nabuchi Emeka. I'm the PVT lab senior supervisor. So basically what we'll do in the lab here is to characterize our reservoir fluids. So in doing that, we'll have this cell. This cell is a recombination cell. What it does is to help us to recombine our surface samples to be able to get our reservoir samples. So after we're done with the physical recombination here, we'll now take it over to our PVT cells. And in the lab, we'll have 3 PVT cells that does all these studies for us. Basically what they do is to help us to characterize different fluids, to know if you are dealing with a black oil, a wet gas, or a gas condensate. This cell is Chandler from US, and it has a working pressure of 2000 psi and a maximum temperature of 204. And it has its own advantage over this one right here. This one is a DBR cell, and it's the oldest we'll have in the lab. for DBL cell, we'll have an advantage over Chandler that it has a minimum volume of 0.5 cc and a working pressure of 10,000 psi and a temperature of 204 degrees C also. So right here, we'll have the newest cell in the lab, which is the Vinci cell. They all carry out the characterizations of these reservoir fluids. And for this, it has a maximum temperature of 175 degrees C and a temperature of 15 degrees C, 15,000 psi. So right here, I'll hand you over to Hilary that will take you over to our flow assurance and flow assist section.
So you're welcome to our flow assurance unit. What we have here is the state-of-art flow assurance equipment, which is designed to handle all kinds of aspartame and WAS precipitation studies. If you look at the equipment has the capability of carrying out measurement at a pressure of 20,000 psi and as low as 0 psi. In terms of temperature, equipment can go as high as 200 degrees C and as low as minus 20 degrees C. This equipment is so superb in a way that at any condition when the fluid flow is taking place from the wellbore to the wellhead, from the wellhead to the storage tank, to the separator and to the storage tank, the equipment can mimic at any flow line condition. At what temperature or what pressure with aspartame begins to lose its solubility from the oil, or aspartame or WAS begin to precipitate from the crude oil system. That's what the equipment does. So I also want to introduce other equipment that we have in our flow assurance unit. Here we have a viscometer to measure the viscosity of oil at atmospheric conditions. We have cloud and pour points. These are other flow assurance equipment that we have. This is for cloud and pour point measurements. At what temperature will the export oil or dead oil sample begins to precipitate to us? Also, what we have here is sulfur. Sulfur in crude analyzer allows us to determine the quantity of sulfur that is present in the crude oil. We have a cryate, which helps us to determine the molecular weight of the oil. We have basic sediment and water analyzer. With this, I can determine the quantity of water and sediment that are present in oil before it's being exported. Here also is aspartame content analyzer that allows us to know the quantity, to quantify the precipitated aspartame in the crude oil. We also have flashpoint analyzer. We have a flashpoint analyzer. With this equipment, I'll be able to know at what temperature will the sample begin to release a volatile substance that can ignite fire. That's what the equipment does for us. So let me introduce you to our GC person who is going to take you through on our compositional analysis.
Welcome to gas chromatography unit, a subsection of PVT units. What we basically do here is to characterize your fluid, and your fluid we are talking about is your gas and your oil. So the equipment you can see here is your gas chromatography equipment, and this one is gas. This one analyzes gas from C1 to C10, and also this too. This one is the latest version of the gas chromatography, and we have our standard gas here that we use to calibrate the equipment monthly to tell you that what we are doing is not out of the space. And this is our liquid gas chromatography. We use to analyze the oil. We analyze this from C2 to C30, but based on what the client wants, we can analyze to C60 plus. This one is also one of the state-of-the-art equipment we have, which actually handles the fingerprinting. Like if you have a spillage issues, we can do fingerprinting on it. If you have a production allocation problem, we can also do fingerprinting analysis on it. So this is our GCMS, which is known as the gas chromatography mass spectrometer. We use to analyze your oil, and it actually handles the biomarkers. That is it. So basically, since for the past 25 years, we've been into oil and gas business, and we've been producing reliable results, and which we know that we have our clients at the back of our mind. And that's why we go further to get state-of-the-art equipment so that we can actually further do research and to get better results for our clients. And I'm going to take you to our data unit where we do our QA, QC analysis, because even when we analyze, we still need to get a good result. Please come. Jesse.
Good day, everyone. I'm Jesse Akogu Joshua, and I'll be introducing you very briefly to what we do here at the PVT Data Analysis and Reporting session. So coming from the GC section, what we do here, a few of our many technical responsibilities include, first, the collation and quality checking of PVT data retrieved from the GC section and the PVT laboratory. Now, what sort of data do we quality check or collate from the GC section? These are compositional data, gas compositions and liquid compositions. And from the PVT laboratory, we collate thermophysical and thermodynamic fluid properties that were experimentally obtained from the PVT cells, flow assurance equipment, the crude assay equipment, and a host of other state-of-the-art equipment. Now, to quality checking, here in this session, we perform quantitative and qualitative checks. In other climes, they're called the graphical and thermodynamic checks. And this entails us performing equilibrium plots and material balance plots in our bid to estimate and predict fluid properties that were otherwise determined from experiments that were done at the PVT laboratory. Secondly, we also perform oil-based mode contamination checks here in this session. Thirdly, we also perform simulations, PVT simulations, making use of licensed PVT proprietary softwares. And this helps us to match experimental data, and by doing so, it helps us harmonize discrepancies. Fourthly, we also report here at the PVT data analysis section, and we generate this client report based on their specific cases. So we've been in business for over 30 years now. Quality is our major hallmark, and this is where it all starts. All right, hope you enjoyed your tour in this department.
Welcome to Laser Research Development and Incubation Unit. This is where we tackle customized oil and gas challenges using state-of-the-art equipment. Let me introduce you to my colleagues who will take you through these equipments.
Okay, the first equipment that we have here is the SRD machine from Marvin Panalytica. With this machine, you can obtain the powdered diffraction scans from rock samples that have been pulverized to powder form. So with this, you can know the mineral composition, you know the various minerals that are in that particular rock sample. Now, the next machine that we have here is the capillary pressure desaturator machine. With this machine, you can obtain the capillary pressure curve of core samples. So, as I said, this is a batch process which can take as much as 30 core plugs, and after running the analysis, you obtain the PC curve or the capillary pressure curve, which aids the evaluation of water saturation and subsequently the calculation of your oil volume that is in place in your particular reservoir. Now I'll be handing over to my next colleague who will introduce the next equipment.
Thank you. This is the AFS 300 core flooding system and is manufactured by core laboratories in the USA. The equipment is designed to simulate interaction between reservoir rock and reservoir fluid at reservoir condition. The equipment is made of two major parts, the control unit and the oven. The control unit serves as an interface between the operator of the equipment and the equipment and holds control valves and gauges. In the oven, we have test chambers that hold representative samples of reservoir fluid and the core holder, which holds a representative sample of the reservoir rock. The equipment has maximum working capacity of 15,000 psi overboarding pressure, 14,700 psi top pressure, and 150 degrees C temperature. With this equipment, we can carry out studies such as the enhanced oil recovery studies, relative permeability studies at steady and unsteady state, wettability studies, pore volume compressibility studies, and rock fluid interaction. Many other rock fluid interaction studies can also be carried out using this equipment. Over here, we have the automated core saturator, which is manufactured by Grace Instruments in the USA. The equipment is designed to help us achieve a rapid and efficient saturation of core sample. And this equipment is automated from the start point to the end of the saturation. Over here is the armored cell. And with this, we carry out wettability studies to achieve or attain the wetting characteristics of a particular core sample. And here we have the surface tensiometer. And this equipment is used to carry out or to measure the surface and interfacial tension between two immiscible fluids. This equipment works between the temperature of ambient and 100 degrees C. This equipment finds its application in the field of enhanced oil recovery to get the effect of a particular surfactant on the interaction between the reservoir fluid. All right, let me introduce you to our mini refinery. Is a BRO semi-automatic distillation equipment, also known as a mini refinery. It was designed according to standard to simulate the crude distillation unit and vacuum distillation unit of the commercial refinery. This analysis will give you the different fractions of a whole crude, beginning from the overhead gases down to the vacuum residue. In between that is you will get a gasoline, kerosene, AGO, vacuum gas oil, and lights. Now, distillation analysis as the initial phase of crude assay will give you information that will enable you to value your crude, as well as to know how compatible it will be to different refineries. Thank you.
So this is the Slickline manager. Sir, what do you do here?
My name is Okoro. I'm the Slickline manager, Lesa Engineering. Basically, Slickline is the oldest form of well intervention used for recovering oil and gas. And well intervention is simply carrying out a remedial work without necessarily damaging the formation. And there are different types of jobs that are done in the Slickline, and includes removing of wax or paraffin from the wellbore. We also carry out BHP test, BHP survey of the reservoir. The Slickline arrangement or equipment outlay is basically divided into three parts. Ferdinand Nwachukwu and Raymond Onwachi will tell you more about some of the things that you need to know concerning Slickline activity.
I'm Raymond. Behind me is a laser state-of-the-art Slickline equipment or truck. The beauty of this truck is it has three components. First is the truck itself. Then the second section is the Slickline unit, which is a double drum Slickline unit. And the third section is the crane section. Now, the beauty of this truck is it reduces the logistics challenges you may encounter while mobilization or preparing for any job, in the sense that the Slickline unit is built or incorporated in the truck. The truck is directly from NOV, and it's a double dual drum, comprises of 125 wire and 1/8 wire. Now, let me start with the crane section. Now, the crane section has about 90 feet boom, which gives you the leverage to access or take your PCE down to the well at a very long distance. Now, we have what they call LMI system in the crane. The truck is divided into three segments: the truck itself, the Slickline unit or cabin itself, and the crane. Now, the crane has an LMI system. LMI means load moment indicator. Now, the load moment indicator gives you the leverage to know the weight of the PCE you are lifting. It is a state-of-the-art technology in the industry, and we pride ourselves on getting this crane because the LMI system gives you the leverage to access to quantify the weight of what you're carrying, especially the PCE. Okay, so This is laser double drum slickline unit. Now basically this is a carbon steel wire for 125 and carbon steel wire for 108. Basically for intervention operation, you know, to meet up with the client's demand. Now the beauty of this section is this. I take you up to this cabin. Our choice of wire to use in any operation depends basically on our client's demand. Now this is 108 carbon steel wire and this is 125 carbon steel wire. Now I take you to the cabin so that you see the state-of-the-art technology from NOV. So this is the cabin for the Slickline unit. It's directly from NOV, and one good thing about this unit is this. Your BOP can be pumped open or closed from this section. You don't need to go down to make up your hand pump to pump open or close your BOP. Now this is the section. BOP, close, off, open. So this is for the upper ram, this is for the lower ram. Now we have our connections, our hoses you connect to the BOP. Depending on the particular ram you want to connect or you want to pump open or close, you activate the system here. You activate the system and then unequally like take it to open position. It views and it shows you the pressure. This is for the upper ram BOP. We do the same for the lower ram BOP. And then it is, however, an exclusive part of this, exclusive and interesting part of this unit. Any mishap during any slickline operation, you don't need to go down to the engine to turn off the system. You activate this red knob here, and this automatically shuts down the whole system. So we call it the emergency shutdown system. This is the Martin Decker that gives you the weight of what you're pulling. This unit has actually gone out for about 3 good times, you know, and the performance was able to meet up with that of the requirements for our clients. And thumbs ups are coming because they are actually coming to see the system.
Okay, you are welcome to Slickline department. You've been welcomed before, but I welcome you again. Laser engineering, so we acquired most of the equipment you've been shown. This one is the list of the Slickline equipment apart from the truck. The truck you've been told is purely for land operation. These are flyland equipment from Elma NOV, state-of-the-art equipment. This equipment is used for well intervention using Slickline. This is double drum, split unit. The power pack is operated with diesel. The entire unit is pneumatically and hydraulically operated. Now this is the winch. The winch has 2 drums. The 2 drums contains different sizes of wire. Mostly the front one is 108, which is this one, purely for slickline operation. This one is a 316 line, purely for swabbing and heavy-duty fishing. That is the measuring device. Because everything we are going to do in hole must be measured. You need to know your weight, you need to know your depth, where you are going. This equipment, as I told you, is one of the best in the industry. Here is a combi gauge. It has emergency shutdown system. In case of any emergency, you press this one, it goes down, the unit will stop. Because we are dealing with oil and gas and hydrocarbon, we make sure that the equipment we are using has an inbuilt spark arrestor. So this is equipped with inbuilt spark arrestor. In case of any spark, it will not come to surface to ignite the hydrocarbon. So you can see the hoses. These are the hydraulic line, the air line. That's why I told you it is hydraulically and pneumatically operated. This unit has different capacities. This is about 75 horsepower. It can do anything. It can work anywhere, offshore, onshore, deep waters. Okay, when you see this, it has smart monitor. The purpose of this smart monitor is to correlate the depth. The client wants to make sure that he knows where you are in the well. It is the most cost-effective way of doing slickline. The same thing applies to this one. This is the measuring device. It allows you to know how many feet of wire is going down with the service tool into the well. This one is 732, a higher tension pulling weight that can be used anywhere during drilling. You know, like during completion, pipes might drop, and then you can access this line to go and pick them, no matter how heavy they are. These two buses are used for transporting our service tools safely to site before operation. These are all the two buses we use. Some are already out. The job we do under pressure. It is critical to be able to contain and control the pressure that you are working with. You can see 15K test pressure, 10K working pressure. This is to enable us withstand every pressure, no matter whether expected or unexpected, from the formation at any point in time. We'll be able to withstand the pressures and control them effectively. How do we control them? You can see this one is connected to this. This is the hand pump, this is the pressure hoses. This is connected to the BOP. In case of emergency, we'll just pump. Under 10 minutes, it's closed, and then everything will be taken care of. This is a single accept drum unit. It has the tenacity to pull, to set, run in hole, and do any job we want to do apart from swabbing, because it has just one line. It's also accept unit. I will take you straight to our downhole service tools and then accessory, and that will be it. Okay, this is our tool shack. Some people call it store. You can see this is our service tools, both for fishing, pulling tools, running tools, swabbing, and accessories for the units. These are our crossovers and our flanges. We deploy them according to the program. From here, we support operation from the base. We have plugs, we have kickover tools for gas lift operation. We have stems and jars of different sizes for weight and hammering. We have hand pumps for support operations for hydraulic BOPs and downhole safety valves. In case of emergencies, in case if we are stuck in hole and we need to throw a cutter. This is a flow patrol cutter, these two boxes. So these are spare hoses. In case of everything we do, we connect hydraulic lines. And if there is any one that, for any reason, that is need to be changed, we quickly do that from the base here. So these are swab cups up there. Swab cups for swabbing purposes, different sizes of wells. We have overshots, gauge cutters, LIBs, end-test tools, GS pulling tools, lock mandrels for plugs, different kinds of plug. We have gas sleeve change-out equipments such as JDC, quarter JDC, and JK. All these are available in case of any eventualities. Okay, for the wire too, we have a way of testing the integrity of our wires from time to time. So for that reason, we acquired torsion tester, this very big one here. A torsion tester and a wire and a pull tester. So the two of them are used to measure the integrity of our wires to make sure that they are all working very well. Newly acquired from Emet is the swab head we acquired, this one. So we can continue with showing you the accessories. Because these equipments are not truck mounted and they need to be moved to location. So you can see all those slings. Those slings are the slings for this equipment to be lifted to the field. And before that is done, the slings are certified. You can see the plate, you can see some of the plate on this unit too. Will also be done. There is also a plate on this one. In conclusion of the facility tour, I will like to say thank you very much for coming.
You are welcome to environmental units of Laser Engineering. Thank you. Of course, you must have heard about Laser being certified to ISO 9001. Now, this unit is part of that certification. And as a unit, as a laboratory, we are currently in pre-assessment stage of being certified, accredited to ISO 17025, which is an international accreditation for laboratory, specifically for laboratory competence in testing. Now, our objective as a lab is to make sure that we generate defensible and accurate data. Data rule the world. And of course, for you to take decision in industry and in the manufacturing industry, it must be accurate and defensible data. So to do that, we are guided by the robust quality assurance and quality control, which we practice here. And guided by that, as a laboratory, we are subscribed to proficiency testing, aquaculture proficiency testing. It's a UK-based proficiency testing, and with that, our result, the result we generate here, is compared to other laboratories worldwide, and our performance in this subscription have been very excellent. Now, the services we do here, as a unit of laser engineering, we do environmental consulting services. We also offer analytical laboratory services. We offer production chemistry services. We do calibration and microbiology laboratory services. Now, we have an array of state-of-the-art equipment, which one of my colleagues will take you around to tell you specifically what this equipment do. So I will introduce you now to Mr. Tochukwu Obu. Tochukwu Obu is a senior chemist in this lab, and he will take you around the equipment we have here. Tochukwu, please, go ahead.
As Mr. Pascal already said, welcome to AAS. The name was derived from the equipment we were using for metal analysis before now, which is that equipment over there. So but over time, we have to upgrade to this equipment. The equipment is called Macro Plasma Atomic Emission Spectrometer. This equipment is an ICP modeled equipment. And one of the major advantages of this equipment is that it basically runs on air, and it can be used to determine up to 15 elements at a time, unlike the atomic absorption spectrometer. So here we also have that this equipment can detect a very low concentration of the analytes of interest, up to parts per billion. So if you look at here, we have the auto sampler, and what this means is that we can have over 100 samples arranged and run sequentially. So the equipment is actually advanced, and the results here are very, very reliable and reproducible at the same time. So you can do transition metals, some non-metals, and even metalloids using this equipment. So this, as I've earlier said, is atomic absorption spectrometer that we formerly use for metal analysis. So we have this, which is the furnace. We use this for ash content determination in different sample metrics, like even diesel. So this is a sample storage area where we store samples, and we have a regulated temperature at which we store our sample. So we also have a water deionizer here for deionizing the water we use for standard preparation. We also have another storage area here. What we basically store here are standards. So a range of standards are here, including our QC standards, which we use for analysis. So here we have an equipment, the Harcourt lab. This equipment is used for basically for titration, talking about doing a TAN analysis, total acid number analysis, which is a titration analysis. So most times, some patients use a normal burette for titration, but this is an advanced form of titration where you can get a volume as low as even up to 0.001 mil. So we also have this equipment, Aquamax coefficient for water content determination. This equipment can determine water content for as low as 0.001%. So here we have the UV spectrophotometer, ultraviolet spectrophotometer. This is one of the latest in HARC series. So this equipment is used for anion determination. Like your sulfates and nitrates are all done here. So we have several cuvette sizes and types, depending on the parameter you want to determine. And each parameter you want to determine, you select the equipment will ask you to present the actual cuvette that's needed, and that helps you to generate an accurate result that is defendable anywhere in the world. So thank you very much for taking a tour with us in our AS lab. So to introduce you to the next lab, our chemistry lab of
This is the chemistry laboratory. And in the chemistry laboratory, what we mainly do here is sample preparation, wet chemistry analysis, as well as crude assay. Now, to do this analysis, we have a range of equipment. So I'll just briefly start from here. This is our water distiller, a water distiller. So we also produce distilled water here for analysis. Then this is our oven, which we use for drying, and also for analysis such as total dissolved solids, total suspended solids. So we use it to maintain specific temperature of interest. Then here we have a range of in situ measurement kits and also field kits. So if we are going to the field, for example, to carry out environmental studies and also to sample produced water and carry out in situ analysis, we go with this equipment that you are seeing. So this is a dissolved oxygen meter, of course, used to measure the dissolved oxygen of water. And this is a pH meter. These two are pH meters for pH measurement in water. Then this is a multi-parameter equipment. We use it for the measurement of conductivity, total dissolved solids, as well as salinity. Then this is a particulate counter. We use it for air quality measurement to estimate the amount of total suspended particulates, as well as PM 2.5, as well as, and also PM 10. Then this is our salt in crude analyzer. This is one of the key equipment we have here, because for you to export your crude, salt content, or salt rather, is not a desired content. So you are expected to measure the salt content of that crude oil. So we use this for that measurement. Then this is our analytical balance. It's one of the key equipment in the lab as well. We use it for measurement of weight, and it measures up to 4 decimal places. Then this is our calibration standard for the analytical balance. So we have the 200 grams weight. We also have lower weights as well. So depending on the kind of sample you are dealing with, so you have 50 grams, you also have 1 gram and 2 grams below. Then in the AS lab, I show you our DR6000 spectrophotometer. So here we have a lower model, DR2400 spectrophotometer. So they actually do the same thing. It's just that the other one has, the DR6000 has lower detection limit. So the two of them complement each other. Then this is our COD reactor. We use it for digestion of sample prior to taking COD measurement. COD is chemical oxygen demand. Then we have our turbidimeter here. We use it for measurement of water turbidity. So it's also one of the key equipment we have in the lab here. Then we also have our hydrogen sulfide test kit. So we use this for measurement of hydrogen sulfide in water. It is a HAC equipment. You can as well use the spectrophotometer for hydrogen sulfide measurement. So they are also complementary to each other. And in addition to that also, here we have our electric vibration sieve machine, which we use for particle size distribution of sand. So you can do sand content in a crude oil. You can also do your particle size distribution of sand. So we use this for that purpose. Then this is another storage unit here, which we, of course, use for the preservation of our samples. Then here we have our film cupboard. And here we carry out activities such as digestion or anything that leads to the evolution or emission of fumes within the lab. So it takes the fumes outside and keeps the lab safe for others to continue working here. Then I told you we carry out sample preparation here in the lab. So for instance, if you have a sample from a crude oil spill site, you are expected to treat that sample to prepare it for analysis such as total petroleum hydrocarbon, polyaromatic hydrocarbon, and the likes. So we use this for extraction using appropriate organic solvents. This is a vortex mixer. So use this to agitate the sample prior to sonication. So they go hand in hand. So that's the summary of what we do in the chemistry laboratory. Thank you very much.
All right now we are going to the microbiology laboratory.
Welcome to microbiology lab. Just as you have been told before, the environmental unit comprises of 3 labs. Microbiology is one of the 3 labs, and in the microbiology lab, we carry out microbial analysis, such as total coliform, fecal coliform analysis. We do salmonella analysis as well. As it relates to oil and gas, we do sulfate-reducing bacteria analysis, as well as hydrocarbon utilizing bacteria and total heterotrophic bacteria count. So in doing all of this, we have state-of-the-art equipment which we use to carry out analysis to generate reliable data. So we have our autoclave which we use to sterilize our media. So up here are some of our media that we use for analysis. Then here too is our oven. We use the oven for glassware sterilization, as you can see, to ensure that we don't have contaminants in whatever we use to carry out analysis. Then here is our anaerobic jar. The anaerobic jar is used to carry out sulfate-reducing bacteria analysis, because majority of those bacteria are anaerobes, that is, they don't require oxygen for them to grow. So we use this to create the anaerobic environment for these organisms to grow. Here is our microscope. Then here is our analytical profiling index kit, the API kit. Then here is our colony counter. So we use the colony counter to magnify the colonies on the plate so that we can count accurately. And here is our incubator. We have different temperature ranges at which different microbes grow optimally. So we use the incubator to achieve that. So here, this is where we carry out our sample preparation. So here we do our sample serial dilution. We do the media preparation here. This is where we put them into water and then we take to the autoclave for sterilization. Then also, this is our BOD incubator, biological oxygen demand incubator. So we use this also for BOD analysis. Then here too is our storage units for sample storage as well as reagent storage. So basically, that is what we do here in LESA Microbiology Lab. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, next, we'll visit the Manpower Development Unit of LESA Engineering and Resources Consultants Limited. This is the office of the supervisor. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome. My name is Juliet Emeniu, the Manpower Training Coordinator. Here in Manpower, we operate in two arms. We have the short course training and we have the LESA Petroleum Geosciences Center, which is a full-fledged educational program. In our short course training, we have different arms. We have the geosciences, which involves the reservoir engineering, the geoscientists, the geology, the geophysics, and the petrophysics. Then we have the production engineering that involves incorporates the PVT, the environmental, the surface production operations. Then we have the well intervention and Slickline courses, and finally the soft skill courses. In LESA engineering, we have the educational running program called LESA Petroleum Geosciences Center. We run it for 12 calendar months. It's a program that is divided into modules. We have the module 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The module 1 is the general course, the general module, while module 2 is the theoretical aspect of it. The module 3 is where we involve the use of softwares. We have so many software like the Petroleum, the Eclipse, so many of them that we use to train so many of our students and the workers in the oil industry. Then in module 4 is the lab module, where we send our students to different laboratories in LESA, the PVT lab, the environmental lab, and the core lab, where they go to have the hands-on training. Then in module 5, we'll have the FDP. Our program is affordable. It's a program that you can run from wherever you are. We have the virtual class and the on-site class. And most of our students take their courses and their training right from their comfort places in other states. In our program, we have different training programs. We have the Petroleum Geosciences program, we have the PVT laboratory, we have the production engineering training, and the drilling Then we have the environmental impact assessment training. Here, right now, we have a set of students, the batch 16, running in the premises right now, and they also have the visual training. So it's a training that we take it so far. Most of our students that have graduated for this training are in different places, even outside Nigeria, so many of them, and they testify what they've learned, gotten from laser engineering. So it's a place that will equip you, develop your human capacity, and make you the best person that you can be, that can even help you to be on your own without searching for a job here and here. So in laser, we equip our students. Our desire is to develop manpower, and we'll be doing it right from the onset, and laser emanates from manpower training. Let's proceed to our library. I'll show you our library and our classrooms. We have different classrooms. We have one that's dedicated for virtual classes, and we'll have others that are dedicated for on-site training. Okay, this is a state-of-art and well-equipped library. In laser engineering, we believe in research so much, and research have taken us so far. As you can see in this library, the books are in such a way that anybody at your level can come in and study in laser engineering, and it has equipped a lot of personalities. So I want to call upon the librarian to tell us one or two things about the library. Steph, please.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Berike and I am the librarian. As you can see, our library is equipped, and then we have our students who are reading here. It's usually very quiet and there are no phone calls. As you can see here, we have our books who are already categorized in different sections. We have the computer science, we have the Reservoir engineering books. We also have for geology, we have for economics, accounting, we have SP journals. You know, we just have research books for basically for students who can come here and then research on their work, or for work information, they can also come here and have all the information they need. And then we have our online library, which is usually digital, and then we'll send all our informations there in PDF copies and also in audio, and then students can have access to all the materials they need. We also have newspapers. Here you can find out all the information you need concerning the ongoing activities or information in Nigeria. And welcome to our laser library. Thank you.
Okay, right now we are going to our virtual classroom, a well-equipped classroom, whereby we have our students. Some of them are here taking the classes right here, and others are taking their classes virtually online. So let's move to the virtual classroom right away. Okay, this is a virtual classroom. We have students in Lagos, we have some of them in other states. They can take their training right from this place. Okay, this is a virtual classroom. We have a well-equipped virtual classroom. That means the state of art. In this classroom, we can actually project whatever I want to project in this classroom, and wherever our students are, they will take their lectures peacefully. We have students in Lagos, we have some of them in other states, and they will be taking their lectures peacefully without issues. Here we have the Petroleum Geosciences students in this classroom. So it has been awesome, you know, with the emergence of COVID-19, the virtual issues came up, and it has actually helped us to be able to translate in as much as wherever you find yourself, you can take your lectures peacefully without any problem. So we have everything here is standard, and it has been helping our students to learn very well without issues. So probably you might talk to one of any of the students to tell you about the training and how far they'll be going about this.
How have you been enjoying this virtual classroom? What's the experience like?
Very, very educative, very interesting. The lectures are made very interactive, so I appreciate laser for doing this program with us.
It's like some of your teachers teach you, remotely, right?
No, we actually have all our teachers present here in class with us, but we have some
students
online that join us for the lectures.
Okay, so you can say distance is no longer a barrier here.
Not at all. Not at all.
So learning is fun here, right?
Very much fun. Very much fun. And the internet is extremely stable as well. So we enjoy classes without interruptions or distractions.
With the emergence of the virtual class, it's very, very obvious that distance is no longer a barrier. And that's what our students have been enjoying here, even those in other states. So right now, I will take you to our on-site class to see what our class looks like. Visit our website, check out our modules, and enroll.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome all of you to my office. This is the Managing Consultant's office. What I will do is simply introduce the management team in Port Harcourt. Then after that, you can take over and ask whatever questions you need to ask. On my left here is Mrs. Edith Ouna. She is the Business Development Manager. The next is Mr. Ikechukwu Okoro. He is the one in charge of Slickline. The next is Dr. Mrs. Monica Nwobo. She is in charge of Reservoir management in Port Harcourt. Sitting next to him there on her left-hand side is Mr. Pascal Ugu. Pascal is a manager in environmental. Just right on the left-hand side of Pascal again is the general manager new business. She is Mrs. Joy Ugochukwu Okoro. And then finally, I want to introduce Bella. She's a Dr. Mrs. Pastor Bella Mata, PhD, Petroleum Engineering. So I will now allow you to ask them questions about whatever questions you want. Thank you.
Will tell us about your department, your future plan, and engineering.
Okay, thank you. We are the Well Reservoir Facility Management team here in Lesa, and just like our name implies, we're into carrying out quality integrated studies for both the reservoirs and the field, depending on what the client is actually looking for. In that study, we carry out things like the material balance study, single well modeling, production optimization, also do a lot of analytical studies with the data that they're provided with. At the end of the day, all these studies relate to having what we call an optimal field development plan, which can be deployed in the field to be able to achieve the kind of production that any client will want for his field. So we don't just stop at that. We also have a lot of softwares that we use to carry out these studies, and those softwares are state-of-the-art softwares that are very expensive, and we're able to acquire them to be able to carry out these quality studies. We also deploy them to clients that want us to support them with those softwares to be able to carry out their own work in their base or their own company. So we do a lot of studies. The studies are not limited to just the ones I've mentioned, but as far as it has to do with the subsurface, whatever studies you want to do, carry out from subsurface to your surface facilities, we're able to handle studies like that, and at the end of the day, come up with optimal production optimization plan for your field. And besides that, we're looking at, in future, should be able to manage assets. We just had a major marginal field round from the government, and a lot of fields have been acquired. We're looking at a situation where some of them will be looking for companies that can actually help them to produce this field. We've positioned ourselves rightly. We have the manpower, the experienced manpower, we have the tools, we have all the services that might be needed in a field to be able to give them value for whatever they have invested. So we're open to summits. We're also into economics. We do production economics, whatever you want to achieve. As far as it has to do with production, we're positioned for that. So I will just look at LESA, if I want to describe LESA as a company that is positioned for the future, the oil and gas industry. So far as we know, there is no company that has been able to deploy tertiary recovery method But LISA has been able to acquire what we call an enhanced oil recovery equipment that can carry out any kind of core flooding experiments you want to do before you deploy to the field. So that's why I say that LISA is a company that has positioned itself for future services in the oil and gas in Nigeria. Thank you.
I will start from Madam Edith. Can you please tell us a brief description of your services, your future plan, and the company you work for?
As the business development session, what we do in our department is we prepare proposals to clients. And that proposal can be in form of a tender, can be in form of a tender, it can be in form of a bid, it can be in form of, depending on what the clients want us to do. So we prepare these proposals and send to clients. Then we also communicate through direct interface with our clients via our emails. When we get information from clients, we will communicate to the user department that needs to act on that information. We also handle registrations. We do registration of our LISA engineering to clients. That's what we do in our department. Then our plans, as a business development session, our future plan is for us to do a robust follow-up to ensure that they know the status of our submission to clients. We also plan to increase our client base to enable us to get more information. And we also plan to get a fair share of every tender we submitted. At least if we submit about 50 tenders, we plan to get at least 35 tenders to enable the company to move on and make profit. Okay, LISA Engineering is a one-stop company that renders services to oil and gas industry. And some of our core area of specialties are reservoir management studies, is the services that we do rendered by LISA Engineering. We also do PVT analysis. We do environmental services. We also render services on school, LISA Geoscience, Petroleum Center. We do manpower development, Slickline services. We can also do data management and core analysis. LISA Engineering also do research and development activities. So here in LISA, as I said, is a one-stop company that you can find anything that you need to do in oil and gas industry. You can get it from LISA Engineering. Thank you.
Please, can you tell us about your department, your future plan, and LISA Engineering?
Thank you very much. Before I tell you about our services as a unit, environmental unit, I would like to tell you our vision as a unit. And our vision is to be a world-class certified laboratory for research, for testing and training in production chemistry and environmental issues in the oil and gas and the manufacturing industry. Now, all we do, the array of our services has to do with generation of data, and data rule the world. And that means that the kind of data you generate is very important. And we've gone further to make sure that we generate dependable and accurate data, which is the objective of our unit. Now, to be sure that the data we put out there for our clients is reliable, it's a sub-unit. Our units have international certifications that have done, standard that guide us. Now, one of it is ISO 9001. And as a laboratory, we're already at the last stage of getting accredited to 17025, which has to do with competence in testing. And that is an international standard for any laboratory. And we have gone also further to make sure that we have a subscription for proficiency testing. Now, we are subscribed to Aquacheck. Aquacheck is a UK-based proficiency testing organization. And with this Aquacheck scheme, the results we generate in our lab have been compared to results of laboratory all over the world. And I tell you, our performance has been very excellent. Now, talking about our services. Now, we have environmental consultancy services which we offer to our clients. And this has to do with studies, environmental studies. Some of them, like EIA, has to do with getting permit for any new project. We have environmental evaluation that has to do with existing facility to make sure that they comply with environmental regulations. We have several of them. And we also offer analytical laboratory services, which is the key. Because even when you do environmental services, you have to come up to the lab to make sure you generate the data. And talking about analytical services, we have state-of-the-art equipment which we use. And of course, by the time you go around, you see the kind of equipment we have that we use in our analysis, our testing, which gives us the confidence that the data we generate is what it's supposed to be. Now, another service we offer is the petroleum chemistry services. Here we support the oil and gas production facilities, especially with the chemistry aspects of what they do. We have our guys in the field supporting them, staying in their, working in their laboratory offshore and onshore, and to make sure that, and from the base here, we make sure we support them to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. And apart from that, we grew to the point of solving problems. What I mean is, you know, clients having problems, telling you their problems, they don't know how to go about it. Sometimes you see a particular pipe is plugged. They don't know the kind of substance that is responsible. They just get it, bring it to you, and our work will be to characterize it and tell them what is there and how they can do away with it so that they can continue their operations. So we have grown to that point in production chemistry. Now, another service we offer is microbiology. Microbiology is a service we offer which, you know, we are, apart from analyzing, characterizing microbes, as the case may be, we are advancing it to molecular biology, where we shall be doing DNA sequencing. And that is another aspect of molecular microbiology that Lisa is going into. As I speak to you, we are carrying out an expansion. If you go out there, you see a building that is being put up. And that building is one of the plans we have to be able to expand. And by the time we finish that building, you will surprise the kind of services that, and molecular biology is one of it. Another service that is very important, which is needed in industry now, is calibration services. To calibrate analytical equipment, whatever equipment at all that is used for testing, Lisa can do that for you. And that is, in a nutshell, the service that we offer in the environmental unit. Now, I'm talking about Lisa as a person. Lisa is a company that gives the staff the leverage to fly. I say to fly because it's a company that allows you to bring up what you have and contribute to the growth of the company. And Lisa have been able to do that. Some of the services that we have, it didn't come from, say, the MD or a top person. It comes from the staff, knowing that, look, we are supposed to do this, and you bring it up, and you are given the opportunity to express yourself, give you the opportunity to make sure that happens. So that is the kind of organization Lisa is, giving you the opportunity to express yourself, and then in that way, you contribute to the growth of the company. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Gechuku. Can you please tell us about your future plans, your services, and about Lisa Engineering?
All right, thank you. Slickline is a form of well intervention. As a matter of fact, Slickline is about the oldest type of well intervention that is used in the recovery of oil and gas. And what is well intervention? Well intervention is simply the performance of remedial operation or activity in a well without damaging the formation of that well. So basically, that's what Slickline is all about. There are three major components of the Slickline. Number one, you have the Slickline unit, and then you have the pressure control equipment, and you have the downhole tools. Then you have the downhole tools. The downhole tools, you have varieties of tools which can be used to perform different services. For us, our suit in Slickline we can actually carry out a VHP survey using the Slickline. We can do a gas valve change out. And then again, if you have a producing well and then your well suddenly quits, and then it could be that you just needed to swap the well in for it to flow. And that's where the well intervention comes in. That's the intervention. So we come in with a Slickline and then do a swabbing on the well and get your well back to production. Then we'll have the zone change and we'll have well integrity checks. These are some of the services that we can do with the Slickline. And then for future plans in Slickline, we have been on top of our game in the traditional Slickline. But we want to venture into the intelligence Slickline, where you can actually use the Slickline to carry out services real time, as against running sensors in memory. So that's where we want to get to. And also for me, working in Slickline as a manager, I discovered that LESA has provided me with a platform to be able to be innovative. And that innovation came to play when we needed to acquire our state-of-the-art Slickline truck. Our Slickline truck is all in one. You can use it. You have the Slickline unit, and then you have the crane all in one. The traditional Slickline type of mobilization when you're going to a line job is to have a Slickline unit separate a truck, and then you have a crane truck separate. So you have about 2 trucks. But we decided to have an all-in-one, just one truck doing that. So eliminating a situation where you now have a whole lot of equipment in the client field. And we actually give specification to the OEM to be able to design these particular equipment. So far in Nigeria, we are the only company that has this truck. So that's the innovation that LESA has given me to be able to, to use the platform to achieve great things in Slickline. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Bella Bata, PVT Senior Manager. So please tell us about PVT, your future plan, and this engineering.
All right, PVT Lab is saddled with the responsibility of giving full description to our clients to be able to properly manage their reserves and to develop it. What do I mean by full description? We are able to tell our clients, the oil and gas industry, the type of fluid they are dealing with. Whether they are dealing with black oil, whether they are dealing with volatile oil, whether they are dealing with critical fluids, whether they are dealing with wet gas, dry gas, or gas condensate. And this is very, very important because for them to be able to maximize the recovery from their wells, from their reservoirs, they need to have a good description of the fluids that are coming out and to be able to manage it optimally. So that's what we do basically in the PVT laboratory, characterize reservoir fluids. We also characterize petroleum fluids, and we also do water analysis. Right there in the PVT laboratory, we carry out composition analysis, and we're able to do geochemical analysis, giving fingerprints results to our clients, which they can use for production allocation. They can also use it for forensic investigation in a situation where we have oil spills. We also have the flow assurance arm of the PVT. In flow assurance, we want to find out if there is going to be a problem with flowing the fluid from the reservoir up the tubing to the surface. Is there going to be a showstopper, so to say, that will prevent the fluid from being flown to the surface? And the things that can actually stop this flow include solid depositions like wax, asphaltenes, hydrates, and then of course we do emulsion studies to find out if this will pose a problem while flowing the fluid. We also have, right there in the laboratory, the ability to do complete crude assay. So we have a distillation unit that carries out both atmospheric and vacuum distillation and then brings out the different cuts. So we have the kerosene fraction, the diesel fraction, and all those, and we're also able to characterize these sub-fractions to be able to help the production engineer to define his fluid and the market value of his fluid. So in addition to all these things that we do, I also want you to know that our PBT lab is mercury-free, and the the cells that we use that serves as mini reservoirs in our study is actually fully visual. That means we don't use line cells, we don't try to infer when there's a phase change while we're carrying out the analysis. And this is what sets the PBT lab of laser engineering apart from every other laboratory. And then of course we have standard procedures for carrying out our testing. We also have, we do calibration and maintenance on our equipment to be able to assure our client that the data that we are bringing out, they can actually rely on it to carry out informed decisions while carrying out their work. And then lastly, we also have grown to the point where we are able to interpret data for our clients. They come in sometimes not even knowing what to do. We define the experiment for them that they need to carry out, and we offer interpretation of the results. So that's what we do as a service. Not forgetting, we also carry out sampling. We are able to do both bottom hole sampling and surface sampling for our clients. Then talking about future plans, yes, we actually have a job we're doing currently, that's fingerprinting of the various depot belts in the Niger Delta region. We're planning to expand beyond doing oil fingerprinting to doing gas fingerprinting and then water fingerprinting. These are other areas that we want to go into. They want to also carry out optimization of some of our equipment in the laboratory, because we discovered that some of them are not actually optimized. So talking about laser, for me, laser is a place that is dynamic, a place that is progressive and ever growing, and it provides to an enabling environment that fosters creativity and innovation.
So next is General Manager Mrs. Jen Buchuku Okoro. Ma, can you please tell us about laser engineering in general and your future plans for the company as well?
Okay, thank you so much. My team, the new business team, is actively responsible for taking the company's business to sub-Saharan Africa. One of the major things that the industry has been trying to do is to make footprints in other African countries. Because basically Nigeria has all it takes to be able to export services, to be able to export experience, manpower to other African countries, being an experienced country in the oil and gas business. Therefore, in our expansion plan in laser engineering, we have thought it wise to also make giant footprints in other sub-Saharan African countries. We have already started doing that, and currently we are registered to do business in Uganda. We are also currently having a couple of MOUs with different countries. We have currently the University of Bamenda students from Cameroon in our facility doing a 6 months internship training, after which they will go back to their country to be able to, exercise and, put into practice what they have learned here with us. My team is also responsible not just for taking the company's business to sub-Saharan Africa, it's also responsible for ensuring that there is expansion and branching out of all our services and new services also. Because any business that does not think of expansion will indeed die. Therefore, my team is responsible for expanding and branching out options, for the company. We advise the company, and we also go ahead to do that branching out in the way we can do it. in that area, we have gone ahead to have an MOU with Youngstown State University in Ohio, United States of America, and we are doing some form of business with them. And in the long run, we intend to partner with them to create more training opportunities and rooms for the company. And finally, I would like to say that we are not just going to go to sub-Saharan Africa. Our future plan is to ensure that LESA becomes a global name, not just in the sub-Saharan Africa, but globally. We intend to do business in all areas that we can find. And to that effect, we are also trying to go into business in Guyana basins, which is in Southern America. We are doing all those, and my colleagues have done a lot trying to describe the company in terms of services and qualities. I will try to describe the company in terms of characteristics. If you ask me, LESA is a business par excellence. It is a business that has integrity and quality as their watchword. As a staff here, the sky is not your limit, which means that it provides the platform for you to become whatever you think you can ever become. Thank you so much.